Hey folks, welcome back to Mark Kelly Farm. If you remember from our last video, we're going to be processing a hog this weekend. So we're going to be doing a lot of cut and wrap tomorrow. And then on Sunday, we're going to be doing all of our grinding and making all of our sausage. Trying to find a sausage recipe that Kelly likes. I can't use any recipe for her that's got any fennel in it because she associates fennel with sausage. So I have to get rid of the fennel or find a recipe that doesn't have fennel for her. Although I will make some like Italian sausage for me that I'll just eat by myself. But I'm trying a couple different sausage recipes, and I wanted to let you guys know it's not hard to make your sausage at home. You don't have to stuff it. You don't have to have any fancy equipment. And you can make it in small amounts. And all you need is some spices. And I'll show you some recipes for 1 pound of meat. Because sausage is expensive and you don't always want to go down and buy the stuff in bulk. And even if you buy a pound of it, it's pretty expensive. So I recommend that you make your own. And I'll show you the 1 pound recipes, because a lot of your meat is sold by the pound, or you get it if you get it from your locker plant in those little 1 pound chubs. This is something you can do, and like I said, you don't have to stuff it. You can make it into patties. You can even roll it into a sausage size link without skin on it. In fact, me and my buddy Steve, when we used to do catering back in the day, we were doing a Relay for Life event, and we ran out of hot dog buns. No, we ran out of hamburger buns. So what we did, at the idea of one of his daughters, Jessica, we rolled the hamburger into hot dog sized pieces and cooked them on the grill, and she called them ham dogs. I've even seen these ham dogs now on the internet. They're served at like a restaurant or something, like a specialty item. But we came up with that a long time ago, and it worked pretty well. So you can make them into like skinless links. You can do that with breakfast sausage too. Make it into small little skinless links. In fact, I don't know if we'll cover it this weekend, because if we're doing a sausage video now, I may not make one this weekend. But I put all of my bulk sausage, and I make it all bulk. I don't stuff a lot of it at all. I put it in quart-size Ziploc freezer bags. And I put 1 pound of meat into that bag. We take all the air out of it that we can, and then we'll flatten that bag out flat once it's closed. And they stack in the freezer really nicely. And of course we label them, because the freezer bags have that little spot that you can write on. And they'll stack in the freezer. You can pull that bag out of the freezer, and you don't even have to thaw it out. You can peel that Ziploc bag off of it and throw it right in the skillet, and it'll cook just fine. So that works well. And I'll do my chorizo that way. I do my breakfast sausage that way. I do my Italian sausage that way. And my Italian sausage I'll let thaw all the way out, and I can make it into meatballs. I can make it into any shape I want. So it's a real good idea to do that. So let's show you what we're going to do with 1 pound of meat tonight. I'm going to make an herbed sausage that I want Kelly to try. And if she likes it, we'll make it up this weekend out of some pork. So I've used just a 1 pound chub of hamburger to make this herb sausage. I'm putting my larger items just in with the meat. But my small dry spices I always mix with whatever liquid that the recipe calls for. So in the bowl I got 1 pound of beef. I've got 3 tablespoons of Parmesan cheese. I put the dried basil in there because I had it in leaf form. But all the rest of the spices I'll add it to right there with the liquid. And that is black pepper. We got oregano, mustard seed, garlic powder, onion powder, and some red wine. And I'll show you the recipe as soon as we're done mixing this together. I'll show you a page of some different recipes, so you don't have to write any of this stuff down. The reason I put the dry small spices in here, once I get this meat kind of stirred up, it distributes the spices further into the meat, so you don't get a pocket of a dry spice left in the meat that's going to get you later. So let me get this stirred up and kneaded up real well, and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, I got the larger bulk item mixed into that. So we're going to pour our wine and our dry spices. We'll pour it throughout the bowl here. And if you see any spices left in the bowl, you just take you a little hunk of meat out of here and then wipe it through the bowl to pick up all those spices. It's hard to do with one hand, but you get the idea. And then once you got all that wiped up, you put it back in there. So let me get this mixed up. Alright, we got it all mixed up. Smells amazing. I think Kelly's really going to love this. Now, what I've done something different with this. I like to use a cure whenever I'm doing a sausage. Like a link sausage or something like that. Not so much with breakfast sausage or Italian or anything like that, but something that I'm going to cook like this herb sausage and maybe make it into a link form, something like that. I use Morton's Tender Quick, which you can get at your grocery store. Let me show you that. This stuff right here. It's a home meat cure. Now, do not get that confused with the pink salt or the Prague powder #1. It's not interchangeable. It has nitrates in it, just like the Instacure #1 or the Prague powder #1, but it also has salt. So you do not use them at the same ratio. So if you're going to use this Instacure, and the reason I use it, it gives your sausage a really nice, deep red color. It turns your meat reddish or red pink, like ham. That's what turns your ham the red color. The nitrates or the nitrite do that. The Tender Quick has nitrates and nitrite, which is a little bit safer than just straight nitrites. And people get all concerned about nitrates and nitrites, but even if you're using like celery powder, that's just a natural form of nitrite or nitrates. So you're still getting them. And people say, well, celery powder is not man-made. Well, yeah, it is. Celery, you don't go harvest celery powder off a celery plant. It has to be made just like a I don't want to say synthetic, but the nitrates are derived from natural stuff. You know, you can't make synthetic nitrates or nitrite. They process natural things to get those. So technically, it's all natural. If it comes from the earth, it's natural. You know, just the way you look at it. But it gives the meat a really nice deep red flavor, and that's what I use. So if you're going to use Tender Quick in a recipe, you can use it in any meat recipe. You're going to use it at the rate of 1 tablespoon per pound of meat. However, if you're going to put it in your sausage recipe that you have, or the sausage recipes that I give you on this page that I'm going to post for you, you need to delete all the salt out of the recipe. If it's your recipe and you want to use the Tender Quick to make a real beautiful product, delete the salt out of your recipe if you're using this stuff. And that's how you use it. If you're going to use the pink salt, say you're going to smoke any of your sausage, you're going to add 1 teaspoon of pink salt for every 5 pounds of meat. But you're still going to leave that salt in your recipe. That's just a cure. It's not salt. So that's the conversion for that. So 1 teaspoon for every 5 pounds of meat. So you can scale that up or scale that down however you want to. So I'm going to put this in the fridge. And when Kelly gets home, we're going to make this for dinner. And I'll show you what the end product is. But right now, I'm going to post a picture of some of my sausage recipes. So when the picture comes up, pause the video. You can write this stuff down, or if you're watching on a phone or a computer, you can pause it and screenshot it. That way you don't have to write everything down. So here it is. That's obviously not all my sausage recipes, but those are some of my favorites. I added this new one to the bottom. But I make a lot of the breakfast sausage, Italian sausage, and the chorizo. We make a lot of that. I stir the chorizo. The chorizo is pretty spicy. I don't know if you want to eat that by itself, but I mix it with eggs and have chorizo and eggs burritos for breakfast. It's phenomenal. Now, like the Italian sausage, you can make that into like a patty and fry it like a hamburger or barbecue it like a hamburger. Put you a piece of sliced mozzarella cheese on top and top it off with either some pizza sauce or some marinara. Oh my gosh, maybe some peppers and onions, little grilled peppers and onions or sauteed. Amazing. You're going to just die when you eat that. So I have a few more recipes on another page that I can share with you, or go buy you a sausage making book and make your sausage. You can make these small little batches. Don't be afraid of it. The good thing about it is if you make it with a pound of meat and you don't like it, you've only wasted a pound of meat. You haven't made 20 pounds of a sausage you're not going to eat. So we'll see you when Kelly gets home. We're going to cook this stuff up and we'll show you. So while we wait, a little bit about some sausage recipes. I got this book that I'll show you. I got this book years ago. And it's not only a recipe book. This guy here actually tells his story about having a sausage kitchen and all that. But there's lots of recipes in this book, not only for sausage, but meat curing, jerky, curing fish, just about poultry, anything that you can imagine meat-wise is in this book. I used to call it my meat Bible because it's big as a Bible for sure. Now, the issue I had with that book is a lot of his recipes call for commercially available ingredients, which aren't available to the normal customer. I can't say not available, not readily available. You can go to Sausage Maker, which this guy talks a lot about, and get anything you want as far as equipment, spices, ingredients, everything. So the ingredients I'm talking about are like soy protein concentrate, powdered dextrose, lots of that stuff that you just can't buy at your grocery store. So later on, I found this book here. So, Home Production of Quality Meats and Sausages. Great book, really thick. It's my new meat Bible. And what I like about this book is all of the ingredients are stuff you can get at the grocery store. It doesn't have the stuff that you can't get locally. So I love this book. And every kind of sausage you can imagine is in this book. It tells you how to make ham, prosciutto, whatever you want to make is in this book. So I recommend that book if you want to get into charcuterie or any of that stuff. It's not hard, really not. You can buy, on sale hamburger at the store or buy it in bulk, or pork sausage. And any of these sausage recipes you can mix and match, beef and pork and lamb, whatever. You can make chicken sausage. You might want to add a little pork fat if you're using a lean, like a poultry or a turkey or something like that. But it's fun stuff. I've really enjoyed doing this stuff since I started years ago. So Kelly's probably about 45 minutes out from getting home, so I'm going to get dinner started. So I had a pound of each. That's the herb sausage that I showed you that we mixed up. This is a Polish sausage recipe here that I want her to try, see if she likes that. But I just made quarter-pound links out of them, just rolled them out by hand, threw them on the little broiler rack there. It's kind of a pan. The juice will drip down to the bottom. But I'm going to put them in at 300 degrees. You can see they're kind of meaty color now, especially these are darker. But because we got the Tender Quick in the mix, when these come out, they'll be a beautiful deep red color, and you'll see that. Oh, by the way, there's the stuff we canned up yesterday from the last video, kind of a Sloppy Joe / chili base mix. Got 15 pints. So let's get these in the oven. Now, if you want to get into stuffing sausage, you can go to like your farm supply store, or even like Sausage Maker, like I mentioned. These we have here at our farm supply store. They're a natural hog casing. They're shelf stable because they're like packed in salt. These are the 32 to 35 millimeter casings, which if you think of like a Polish dog or something like that, that's about the size of these casings. They're a little bit, probably 1.5 times the size of a hot dog, maybe like these quarter-pound dogs I just made. But you'll need a sausage stuffer if you're going to use those. If you remember the butchering setup video that I did out there, I showed a couple of my stuffers that I have. But again, you don't have to have the fancy equipment. I made the investment because I really enjoy this. And we've made a lot of sausage. I started out with a 5-pound press and ended up with a 20-pound press because I got tired of refilling the 5-pound press. But they come with different size tubes for different widths of sausage. You can make anything you want with those. But they make another type of casing that's called a collagen casing that's made out of collagen. It's almost like a plastic consistency when you first pull it out of the package. But as soon as the wet meat gets inside, it rehydrates that collagen and it turns it into a nice sausage. You can smoke it. You can do all that stuff. If you're going to make like a big bologna or something, they have what's called a fibrous casing because you'll pull those casings off. But because they're fibrous, they allow the smoke to get into it if you're going to smoke it. But like hot dogs and bologna and stuff like that, you need to peel that casing off because they're called an emulsified sausage, which if you put the meat like in your food processor and just pulverized it till it was a paste, that's how they make bologna and hot dogs, is an emulsification. It's like a meat paste, and then when it's cooked, it all hardens together. But we'll come back when them sausages come out of the oven. All right, look at how pretty those came out. We cooked them to 150 degrees internal temperature. I like my beef a little bit medium. And some of you will cringe at that if it's a little pink inside, but you won't be able to tell anyway because of the cure. But that's another good thing the cure does is it kills any bacteria and it wards off bacteria as you store it too. So it's another good reason to use it. But that's what they look like, folks. Finger looking good. So, hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you try this out. And we will most likely do a video when we're making sausage on Sunday too. So, stay tuned for that. Love you guys. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you next time.